Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on some DC news. So we are pretty much 2 months exactly away from San Diego Comic-Con for this year. Of course, that being in late July. And then we haven't had 100% confirmation that DC will be in attendance this year in San Diego. Based off the project lineup of what's coming up afterwards, you would have to think that they will be. Of course, Superman comes out around, I think it's around 2 weeks roughly before Comic-Con this year. So it would be a good time, I guess, to celebrate its success. If it is successful, which hopefully it is, and I think it will be. But then we have Peacemaker Season 2 and the literal weeks to follow this year's Comic-Con, as well as Lanterns and Supergirl coming out next year before that year's Comic-Con. So they won't be able to advertise Lanterns and Supergirl next year because they've already come out before next year's Comic-Con. So you would expect those three projects in particular of Peacemaker Season 2, Lanterns, and Supergirl to get some, shine time, or time to shine if you want to put it, as well as maybe a few more projects as well that are maybe revving up to start getting made properly, some of which we'll be talking about in this video. But expect at least those three get the focus at this year's Comic-Con if DC does 100% go, but it would almost be really, really weird if they didn't go. Like, you'd be like, what are you doing? You got to do some sort of advertising. But yeah, we've got some other stuff to go in this video. So of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we go over. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, drop a like. Takes 2 seconds. So the first thing to go over is some stuff regarding Teen Titans. Now, this was reported a while ago that this was being made. It was going to be written by Anna Nagiro, who also wrote the Supergirl film that's just wrapped filming for the DCU. But it wasn't publicly confirmed up until like a few months ago when James Gunn and Peter Safran did like another sort of like Warner Brothers bring in the press thing and have a chat. And I can't remember if Peter Safran name dropped it on his own or if someone brought it up and he was like, yeah, that's being made. But they confirmed that Teen Titans is happening. But there hasn't been a ridiculous amount of details come out about this film because it's still, they haven't properly, like, James Gunn isn't openly talking about it. So I guess it's not 100% officially greenlit from his end because he's still working out details. I think one of the big things with this Teen Titans film is the Batman stuff, because of course Brave and the Bold isn't really moving along as smoothly as they wanted, because of course they have to wait for the Batman Part 2 stuff. And I don't know if that delays Teen Titans, though. It always seemed like Teen Titans was going to come out before Batman Brave and the Bold anyway. But maybe they just don't want to, shape things up too quickly in regards to that. But Daniel RPK did say that Robin in Teen Titans, or in the Teen Titans movie, is expected, emphasis on expected, to be Damian Wayne. Now, of course, this lines up with the Brave and the Bold film, and that's going to be Damian Wayne there. But I think that might just be assumptions there, because we also did have Apocalyptic Horseman, who is a pretty reliable scooper, say, as I reported, it's the Teen Titans lineup and the Robin of the team was TBD. I think it still has a chance to be Tim Drake, and that's undecided. But he also followed up by saying, no, my opinion, sorry for the confusion. I had actually heard Tim as a possibility for Robin. Now, the thing with Tim Drake being Robin is that Tim Drake's not like an overly loved version of Robin. Obviously, a lot of people go either Dick Grayson or they go Damian Wayne, but it also just feels like Dick Grayson's just not going to be Robin in this DCU. He's already going to be Nightwing, probably been Nightwing for a few years now. So it's always going to lean towards, and like they're not going to do Jason Todd probably. So Tim Drake and Damian Wayne, it's not surprising that these are the two that are being lent on now, or the ones that people go to, because it lines up where we are timeline wise at the very least with this DCU and the Batman that we have. But it'd just be interesting to see if Teen Titans is set in the present day, or if it is set 5-10 years in the past and that just allows Tim Drake to be there, or because of where Teen Titans is, might I say, and of course Batman Brave and the Bold might not be out for another 3 years, maybe after it or something like that. You can have Tim Drake be Robin in this movie, and then in Batman Brave and the Bold, by that point, Damian Wayne is Robin, and Tim Drake has now become Red Robin. Or maybe that's the journey for him in this movie, in the Teen Titans film, is going from Robin to Red Robin, and I guess advancing or upgrading, or whatever you want to putting it, leveling up, whatever you want to call it. But I think this Teen Titans movie, they're saying, like, obviously the lineup, when they say Teen Titans lineup, they're talking about the show from the early 2000s. So of course we're talking Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Raven. Did I say Raven? Yeah, Raven. Though there's still a debate, like, how things will go there in regards to a lot of those other castings and everything like that. But, that's what we've heard for quite a while, that's the lineup. And I think if you're tapping into nostalgia, even just the fact that that's a Teen Titans Go lineup as well, you got to keep the brand intact. Like, if they did Teen Titans and like it's just Robin and then maybe Kid Flash and a lot of different characters that aren't what people expect from Teen Titans, then it might make people be like, oh, well, that's not what I remember. And you sort of have to tap into what people expect and what people want when it comes to these projects or these products, and you'd expect them to stay pretty similar to that. Maybe one character could be swapped out, but I feel like they'll just stay with that lineup. That just feels like, if you're trying to make this movie a slam dunk, that feels like almost like you're pretty much at the rim anyway. Like, I think you'd have to stuff it up after that. I think for people to hate it, like maybe like some really bad castings or something like that. But yeah, Teen Titans isn't like in a top 3 project for me, just because like, you've seen other things with it before, but it's still one that I think will be pretty damn successful. Like, I don't know if it's $1 billion thing, but I think it's one that I think will appease people of many different generations and different ages and stuff, just because of the nostalgia, but also the current day factor with something like Teen Titans Go. But the next thing to talk about is something that will, relates to what we're just talking about, and that's the Batman Part 2. Not Brave and the Bold, but the Batman Part 2. Now, of course, we're just talking about, whether Teen Titans can't be made at a certain point or has to be delayed a bit because the Batman Brave and the Bold can't be made, and that's because Batman Part 2 got delayed. We don't know. We don't know. We're not behind closed doors. We're not in James Gunn's office. We don't know everything that's going on and what has to happen for other things to happen and everything like that. But we knew that the Batman Part 2 had been delayed, but we know that it's not like in like the disaster area, if you want to put it, and that it was rumored to be starting to film at the beginning of next year. Was originally at the end of this year, but then there were some delays, and then Robert Pattinson got cast in some other stuff. But we hear from UK production news, we have it that the Batman Part 2, or the Batman 2, a sequel to the Batman directed by Matt Reeves, is set to begin filming in London early next year. And this just lines up with other stuff. Of course, you have to wait and see, but this would just be a production slot. And I think something would have to go pretty wrong, I think, for them not to meet this now, especially with all the different things that have come out where the script is essentially done anyway. I guess it gives them a decent amount of time to now prep it, get into pre-production and get everything rolling. And, hopefully not get that weird COVID thing they have when they're filming the first one, where they got like a bit into filming, then had to stop filming for ages and then go back to it and film during COVID. So, it seems like this Batman franchise with the Robert Pattinson always seems to have some minor issues there in regards to like delaying or holding up filming or something like that. But yeah, I mean, this will come out when it comes out, but of course this is just pretty relevant when it comes to the actual DCU stuff and the Batman side there, because they're not going to have these two things overlap. So once this gets done, at least they can probably start letting the ball roll on DCU Batman, whether that's his solo film, Brave and the Bold, or just appearances in general. But speaking of appearances, we got, I think this is the last thing we're going to talk about, is some stuff from Superman. These are from a convention. I don't know what convention it was. It was just a convention, like I guess just a Comic-Con or some sort of convention around, but it's some new looks at the Guy Gardner suit. Now, of course, it's not the greatest suit because it's meant to be very corporate. It even has the like the Lord, or like they call it like the Justice Gang, but if you look at that, I guess that the one on the right there can be a G, but it looks like an L, so it almost looks like a J and an L, as in Justice League. And I don't know if that's meant to be a thing that is nodded to in the movie, but you can also see that it does sort of look like a G at the same time. People try to make it out that James Gunn was trying to put his initials here, as in JG, though I guess they're calling themselves the Justice Gang. But yeah, but the suit, like, yeah, it looks weird because it's on like this like really stiff mannequin and stuff. It's obviously not Nathan Fillion wearing it. The only thing is that I don't think he has the ring on in the thing here. I guess it's because like someone could reach over and snag it. I'm not too sure, but you can see the belt, which has the Lantern logo and everything like that. And we know, at least what we can assume based off the Peacemaker Season 2 trailer, though it was heavily rumored, is that, maybe this group or the Justice Gang would get new suits. So Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and I guess to an extent Metamorpho, though he doesn't really have a suit, it's just him. But they would all get new suits. And we know from what we saw, at least in the Peacemaker Season 2 trailer, they're wearing the same suits. And they still seem to be working for Maxwell Lord and still a part of this thing. The only one we didn't see was, of course, Metamorpho, but of course, Mr. Terrific. So Mr. Terrific might branch off and do his own thing, which might lead to the Terrifics as its own like solo group, but also a potential project as well, whether that's in film or TV in the future in the DCU. But I mean, the suit looks fine. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to say I love this suit, but it sort of just fits into that corporate sort of like vigilante, or not vigilante, or just, yeah, because vigilante, but superhero group. The main thing I'm really interested in with Green Lantern in this movie is his constructs and how it looks. There was a lot of debate from the official trailer that came out where the hand came out and like flipped the truck, but it didn't seem to be coming from his ring. I don't know, in the content, there might be different like how powers are used and everything like that, or maybe if he sends it out, but it doesn't have to be connected to the ring all the time. So you can send like a ball, just like a ball of energy, but it doesn't, like if he lets go, he can still control it. It's just not like visually connected to the ring, but then again, they might change that VFX where then it connects and that hand is connected to his ring. I know there's a lot of debate about that. I guess it's minor, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I didn't really get the fuss about it too much, but maybe it might get fixed up, or maybe they might change like the context or the canon reason as to why that's happening like that. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it, show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we went over this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.